People, what's up, people? Making sure you can hear me. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Sorry for the late start. Get started in just a second. I have to clear the space. Couldn't find my incense. Hello, beloved souls. It's our Thursday energy check-in, and it is dope. So, alright, cleared the space. Got it all together. I was feeling a little dry. Had to run inside real quick. Grab some Vaseline for the lips. Alright, number 1. Happy Autumnal Equinox, right? It's my time of year. It's so funny. I was just telling my daughter this morning, I was named after the Autumnal Equinox, but I was born during the spring equinox. So I'm an equinox chick, I guess more so than the solstices. And happy belated birthday to my girl Summer. Her birthday just passed as well. And it is also Libra season, right? So, goodbye Virgo, we loved you. Thank you for everything that you brought to us. And hello Libra. Time of balance and diplomacy and partnership and relationships and communication and justice, right? Libra is the scales in the tarot, brings everything into balance. And there's a lot of it's doing a lot of things with like 2 degrees within astrology. I'm no astronomer, so I'm not going to go into all of those numbers, but this is a 6th year, and Libra is ruled by Venus, and the number 6 is also ruled by Venus. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, as 2022 has, is all about Venus. So all about love and beauty and finance and partnerships, and there's a lot of romance coming into the planet right now, a lot of harmonizing. There's just a lot of delicious energies coming in, right? We still have Mercury retrograde in the sign of Libra, so that's instead of really externalizing our relationships, which Libra is great. Libras are great about external relationships, like one-on-one partnerships and really getting things in order. This is about the relationship that we have with ourselves, right? The one-on-one relationship with ourselves. So big changes, big shifts, a lot going on. So before I dive into all of that, just want to open the space with a prayer. So thank you, Heavenly Father, Mother Absolute, Father Absolute, for joining us all here today, creating this beautiful, safe space where we can tap into the energies and just share our hearts, get an energetic update as to what is going on within the collective. Thank you for clear, concise messages coming through for the highest and greatest good of everyone involved. Thank you for putting us in our highest and greatest timeline. Thank you for opening our hearts and our minds so that we can receive all your divine guidance and wisdom on this day. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Heavenly Mother, for all that you do and all that you are. Thank you for waking us up today. Thank you for shielding and protecting us today. Thank you for shielding and protecting our children when they're not with us. And thank you for all the guidance and the clarity of vision that we're going to have on this day. And so it is. Amen. All right. Let's get started. So, again, happy Autumnal Equinox. Happy Libra season. I've been taking a lot of notes because there's just been a lot. There's been a lot going on. This was a really wacky week, right? And like yesterday was like Wacky Wednesday. I was like, what is going on in the world? Like people were just doing things backwards. It was so odd to me, you know, like just out of order. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know how we all kind of follow a system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. People were like 1, 5, 3, 2, 7. You know, and I was kind of like, you know, that's one way to do it. You're probably going to have to backtrack and start all over again, but things were kind of odd for a while, you know, so I was kind of peeping into those energies and being like, what the hell is going on in the collective? Like, why is everything kind of turned on its head, you know? So we come into the equinox where it's supposed to be like this really time of day where light and darkness are kind of equal. Technically, we have a little bit more light than we do darkness, you know, during this time, so that's amazing, you know, because you want to really draw that light energy into your body, draw that light energy into, like, your world and your realm, and just shine it out, shine as bright as you can possibly be, you know, like, if you're like me and you resonate as a light worker, it's like, turn up your light, you know, if it's too bright for some people, they can go get some shades. It's not your problem, right? You're here to shine bright. You're here to just stand in your glory. You're here to just let your heart be felt and seen, right? Really sharing our voices at this time is super imperative, right? Standing in your truth, you know, understanding what your non-negotiables are, right? Understanding that your yeses and what your no's are, and being very comfortable with those responses, right? Like, no is a whole sentence. You don't have to keep explaining yourself. Everybody will be all right. What I was also noticing as well is a lot of ancestors are coming in to support us at this time. There's a lot of clearings going on with generational curses, clearings going on within our maternal and paternal lineage, activations within our DNA that have been dormant that are coming online at this time. All of our memories from all of our past lives are stored within our DNA, right? So you have your DNA, your structure, your divine mix that you got, but you also have the mix from your ancestors, right? Whether that's your earthly ancestors or your galactic ancestors. And so our ancestors are coming forward right now to really help support us as we move forward, as we do these clearings, as we do all of these healings. And this is not necessarily easy work, right? It's not necessarily fun to have to take like a step back and look at your life and be like, holy shit, like I manifested this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm dating the same guy because I keep dating the same person because I didn't learn the lesson yet, right? Or I keep, you know, having kids with the same type of woman because I didn't learn that lesson yet, right? At some point, it's like you got to be accountable for how you're showing up and the people that are coming into your life and what it is that they're there to teach you, right? It's never about judgments. It's never about criticism. It's always about awareness. It's like, you make a mistake. It's like my kids make a mistake and I'm like, cool, what did you learn? You know what I mean? Because if you didn't learn anything, guess what? You get to take that test all over again. And it's not going to be as easy the second go around, the third go around, the fourth go around, right? The lessons get harder and harder and harder until we get the lesson, right? And for many of us, that lesson is learning to love ourselves, learning to forgive ourselves, learning to heal ourselves, learning to respect ourselves, right? Again, standing in our truth, standing in our power, expressing ourselves, right? For those of you who have been chatty Cathy's, you know, or chatty Charles's all your life, this may be a time where you learn to be a little bit more silent and listen more than you speak. And for those of you that haven't really expressed yourself and haven't really been getting your voice out there, right, this might be a time where you need to speak up. You know, you need to say something. You know, it's like, I'm from New York, so we always say, there's like a little ad, it's like if you see something, say something, right? This may be a time where you have to see something and say something about it. Just because we grew up seeing a certain thing or doing something a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that we were taught the right way to do things, right? And that's a challenging lesson for a lot of people to hear and to receive, right? And it's not because like our parents are demonic and they were like, you know, trying to manipulate and, you know, control us. Some were, you know, but for the broader perspective, that's not really was. People did the best that they could from where they were at, right? And you don't know what you don't know, right? And so now as we're moving forward and as we learn and as you grow and as you evolve and as you have your own relationships and your own families and your own interactions, you're kind of learning things, you know, like that way of life doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? It's like what they were doing in the 40s isn't going to work now in 2022, right? It's just not, it's not in alignment anymore, right? It doesn't mean that your morals change, right? That you know right from wrong. People are born knowing right from wrong. It's an innate thing that we all have within us, right? It's like, well, how does a child know not to lie necessarily? You know, it's not because you're sitting there having that conversation with them. They know right from wrong, like from babies, right? It's just a matter, it's something that we're all born with. It's something that's very innate to us. So learning those lessons and moving forward, right? And trying to be the best version of yourself. And that's really what this is always about. Always trying to be the best version of yourself each and every day, right? I have a lot of people in my life, you know, I'm going to bring up Virgos because we just came out of Virgo season, but that are very hard on themselves, right? Like very self-critical, very judgmental on themselves. And I often ask them, like, who are you comparing yourself to? Right? Like, who do you have on this magical pedestal that you're comparing yourself to? Because your life is not their life. Every single one of us incarnated with our own soul path, our own truths, our own gifts, our own like desires and goals and things that we needed to learn during this lifetime. It's not going to look the same as the person over here. It's not going to look the same as that person. It's not going to look the same as your parents or your kids or anything like that because that's not their life. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so throat chakra, I'm tapping into the energies of people. There's a lack of communication going on. you know, and you need to speak your truth, and you need to speak from your heart. Speaking from your heart is not accusatory. Speaking from your heart is not demeaning. Speaking from your heart isn't, I'm constantly bringing up the past because I'm getting triggered. Speaking from my heart is like, I feel like this in this manner because, and I'm in a present moment, and I'm dealing with the present thing, right? I'm not bringing up some old shit. If I say I'm going to forgive and forget, then I need to leave the past in the past. And I mean, I need to leave the past in the past. Like, leave it alone. Not saying you don't take the lessons with you. Not saying that it's okay for what was done to you or around you or to someone that you love. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that if you're going to say, I'm going to forgive and forget and I'm going to move on, then it's time for you to move on. Right? And sometimes you just need to have that conversation in order to move forward. And again, this is not from criticism, this is not judgment, this is not accusatory. This is having a conversation. This is maturely expressing how you feel. You know, like, I'm not happy with these things, or, you know, when you said that thing, it kind of triggered me because I grew up in this environment, or my ex used to say these things to me, or, you know, like, really expressing yourself and being vulnerable and authentic at this time is really going to be important, and it's really going to help you heal and to grow and to evolve as a soul, right? Like, you want to stand in your truth. You want to be able to be fully who you are, be present, and have somebody respect and love you for exactly as who you are. You know, they're gonna love and respect you when you're maybe laughing so hard that you snort, or that you like accidentally fart or something like that. You know, they love like your quirkiness, they love your little spice, whatever that might be. You know, because we're all a little different, right? Everybody got a different seasoning in their mix, right? So, but being able to be authentic and vulnerable in your groups, you know, and knowing who to have those conversations with, right? And that's really, really important energy right now as we're moving into Libra, because again, Libra is about like one-on-one relationships, right? So again, the relationships that we have externally. What is your relationship like with your family, with your children, with your co-workers, right? Maybe with your employees if you're a business owner. What is your relationship also like with yourself, right? What is your relationship like with yourself? Are you your own best friend, or are you your worst enemy? So often, we can tear ourselves apart more so than anybody else. There is nothing a person could say to me that I have not already said probably a million times worse in the most horrific ways, right? Because I have to live with myself every day, and I have had to be accountable for my own actions, my own deeds, for how I've shown up in the world, right? And so a person can say something to you, and if you care about the person, then that opinion might take stock, right? But if you don't care about a person, it's like water for ducks back. You know, you're not going to give a fuck. You know, shrug your shoulders and keep it banging, right? Because you don't care. It's like, who the fuck are you? I don't care. Kill yourself, whatever. You know, you're going to keep it moving. But when it's somebody that you care about, that's speaking to you in these manners, right, then that seed gets planted. And sometimes we forget that that's just a comment that somebody added on to us, kind of like a coat, but it's not a part of us, and we can take it off at any point. And so a lot of that healing is going on right now, right? A lot of us are taking off the coats and the sweaters and the scarves and the gloves and the hats and all the other stuff that's been added onto us out of fear and anger and resentment and projection. And we're realizing, like, that's not us. That's something someone said to me, right? But that doesn't define who I am. And so right now we're moving into the space where we're coming into our own, where we're like, yeah, that doesn't define who I am, you know. And just because my family always did a thing doesn't mean that I have to do that thing, right? Just because that's where I grew up, it doesn't mean that that's where I have to stay. Just because, you know, this is the family business, if that's not my truth, if that's not my dream, if that's not my heart, then I don't have to do that, right? And that might be a hard thing for the people in your circle to realize, right? That might be a hard truth that you have to share with people. But at the end of the day, this is your life, right? This is your life. These are your goals. These are your dreams. This is your heart. This is your soul path. You came into this planet and incarnated with different things that you wanted to learn, that you wanted to build, that you wanted to expand in, right? Different relationships that you were going to have. That is your path, and nobody can walk it for you. Many people will walk it with us, but nobody can walk it for you. And so if they're not comfortable with the fact that you're standing in your truth, that you're walking in purpose, that you want to be happy, that you're setting healthy boundaries, that, you know, you're speaking your truth, and that, you know, you're like, hey, you know, don't talk to me that way, or don't treat me like that, and they have a problem with it, then guess who the problem is? They are. And again, kick rocks. You know what I mean? Like, and not feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about the fact that you're respecting yourself. Don't feel guilty about the fact that you're honoring yourself. Don't feel guilty about the fact that you want better for yourself or want better for your family, right? You don't have to feel guilty about any of that. This is about you standing in your truth and just really honoring and loving and respecting yourself. Really honoring, loving, and respecting yourself as a whole divine human being, right? And showing up for yourself. And again, we're in Libra season, which is about partnership. So if you're not already connected with people within your soul tribe or in a, you know, a beautiful, intimate relationship, that energy is coming towards you right now, right? Because we're all getting gifted that. We're all being given people in our life that are going to be in alignment with who we are, right? So if you got people showing up in your life that you're not feeling, guess what? As within, so without. So there's an energy there that needs to be shifted, right? Which is, again, Mercury being retrograde in the sign of Libra. It's, again, about our one-on-one relationships with ourselves. So how are you showing up, and how is that being reflected back out into the universe? And being accountable for that. You know, like just being like, every time I date someone, they're kind of narcissistic, or they're toxic, or they don't talk to me right, or people in my life don't respect me, or, you know, like I don't feel seen and I don't feel heard. Okay, perfect, cool. Are you that person? Do you allow others to be seen and heard in your world? You know, are you the partner that you're seeking, right? Are you talking to people crazy but then expecting people to bow down to you and treat you with respect when you're not respectful, right? It's hard to get respect if you're not giving respect. It's very hard. There are some people that don't get it and they need very hard lessons, right? And they don't understand until you get disrespectful and lose your mind that you weren't playing. But for the most part, we're shifting away from those energies, right? Because you shouldn't have to deal with somebody that you're constantly like arguing with or feel defensive about. It's quiet. It's quiet. And we're healing all of that. And titles don't mean shit. You know, I love my family. I love my friends. I love all these people. But at the end of the day, Autumn, right, the enlightened daughter, she's the priority, right? Because I got me and I got my babies. Those are my priorities, right? It's me, the Most High, and it's my kids, and that's it. And if you're going to come into our world, our universe, our place in this bright-ass universe, and you're coming with the nonsense and the bullshit, you're going to keep it moving, right? And I'm at such a high vibrational space in my life that people like that don't even have access to me unless I decide to drop my vibration and entertain it, right? You don't even have access to me. You can't reach me. The number you reach is no longer in service because I'm not there anymore. It's not the space anymore. And so our ancestors are coming in to really support us as we're moving forward and to help us stand in our truth and to help us live our lives and to put our best foot forward and to be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. And many of you are feeling this within your soul, right? Many of you are really starting to take a step back and looking at the big picture and being like, okay. You know, like, damn, that was my fault, or that was my bad, or I did stay too long, or, you know, I've been holding on to this resentment for way too long, or holding on to this anger. It's like someone did something to you 10 years ago and you're still mad about it. Okay. Why? Like, either get them out of your life or say something about it and move on. Again, forgiveness is not giving anybody a pass about the things that they've done. It's not, like, making it okay and sweeping it under a rug. It doesn't mean that it gets to happen again. What it means is that that's a healing balm for you and that you're moving on. You're moving forward. You don't want that sitting in your body. Every single person right now that's suffering with cancer is because of a resentment that they have somewhere within their emotional body that they weren't able to express, right? And the reason so many people with cancer have the cancers come back is because they dealt with the physical aspect of what the cancer was, but they didn't deal with the emotional, the mental, the spiritual aspects of what caused the cancer to come, right? Like, if you don't deal with the problem, it's just going to keep coming back. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound, right? Like, yeah, we just covered the wound up real quick, but at some point, if you don't really clean it and take care of it, hey, you might have to amputate that little area. Like, we don't want to go that far. The lesson doesn't need to be that hard. It doesn't need to be that hard. And so we have all the support coming in right now. Delicious energies with the sun moving into Libra. We got Jupiter retrograde in Aries, but that's helping us to really move things forward. There's a lot of energy of success and making things happen and really moving things forward. But that's also an energy of your inner strength and your inner power, right? Because Jupiter is retrograde in Aries, and Aries is first sign of the zodiac, right? It does things independently. It's normally like the first one to get things going. If there's not a door, they're going to create one, right? They're going to ram through the walls. So what is your inner truth right now, right? Like, what is it that you want? What is it, when you look at your life and you take a step back, you know, it's like, how can I get to my happily ever after? What does that look like? What does happily ever after look like? And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be in a divine partnership, although it can be with a person. But what does it mean for you individually, as far as your career or business, as far as your health, as far as your relationships with your friends, your relationships with your family, your relationships with your partner, your relationships with your children, your relationship with yourself, right? As far as where you live, right? As far as how you're living, right? Really taking stock of every area of your life. You know, 1 through 10, how do I feel? 1 is this freaking sucks, I need to have a redo. And 10 being like, it's lit. You know what I mean? That's perfect. I don't even got to think about it. Like, everything is working out for my highest and greatest good. What's your relationship with your money like? Right? That's a big one for many people. You know, I incarnated in, you know, in the hood, right? In the projects. And so poverty consciousness was something that was everywhere around me. And it was fortunate that I got a chance to leave that neighborhood and go see other areas of the world and meet other different people and learn that that was a thing that we were learned and that we were taught and that we see on a daily basis, but that's not actually the reality, because God's universe is abundant. There's enough for everybody in God's universe. It's our thought process that blocks that energy out. And it took me a long time to kind of accept that, you know, a long time to understand when it said, you know, if God will feed the sparrows of the earth every day and they don't have to worry about it, he will do more for you. And it was like, it didn't compute, you know, it was like 2 + 2 = 5. Like, it wasn't adding up to me, you know, and it took a long time and a lot of painful lessons, especially when it came to money and finance, and having to go all the way down to the shitstorm and being dragged through the muck to have to learn that lesson and be like, yo, okay, oh, I get it. Like, it's money is just an energy, and I don't have to be scared of it, and I don't necessarily have to, like, sell my soul to get it, and it's not actually the root of all evil. People just sometimes use it the wrong way. But I'm not a demonic person, so when I get money, I don't conduct myself like that, so it's not going to be the same for me. And it was like having to have different conversations with myself about it, you know, having to have different conversations with myself about my relationships, you know, and, like, what the priority is, you know, and what my love language is, and having to learn those things. These weren't easy conversations. I do a lot of inner work every day. It's exhausting. When I tell you it's freaking exhausting, it's exhausting. But I can't possibly tell any of the people that I coach, you know, any of the people within my tribe, whether they come to me through coaching or through the readings that I do, or just a healing session, I can't possibly tell everyone else to show up, show out, and be accountable and journal and do all this deep inner work if I'm not doing it myself. You know what I mean? So before I even comment on anyone else's life, guarantee God has already called me on it, put me to the test, and I've had to really do it, you know. So when I speak, I can speak in confidence, and I can speak from a place of knowing, because either I've gone through it or someone within my tribe has gone through it, right? And so I have that knowledge and that wisdom and that understanding within me to be able to share it out, you know. But that, when I tell you, it's not easy, and that I get pulled through the ringer, like having to see every aspect of yourself that you were toxic and narcissistic and unhealed, and you weren't loving yourself, you weren't feeling like you were deserving, you had low vibrational energy, you had distorted belief patterns within you, you know, like everything, and like looking back at my life and being like, oh my God, like, why didn't anybody give me a heads up? But again, I'm around people who didn't know, you know. They can't teach you what they don't know. You know, you don't know what you don't know until you learn it, and then you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that 10 years ago. I would have saved so much time. I would have saved so much money. You know what I mean? But here we are, right? And so I take today, and I make it a great today, and I'm going to make that for a doper tomorrow. And that's what it is. That's just what it is. So some of you may be feeling your ancestors coming close to you, right? Maybe you're getting little signs, like, you know, you're seeing repeated numbers, or you're finding feathers or coins, or maybe you know, you smell something that reminds you of your grandmother or your grandfather, right? Or you're just like, you hear something, you know. When one of my cousins passed away, I was going to the supermarket with another cousin of mine, and I swear this man walking towards me looked just like him. And it wasn't just me seeing the spirit. My cousin that I was with too, we both like did a double take, because I was just like, and I'm like, did you see? He's like, and he said the guy's name, and I was like, okay, cool. But it was just like his spirit came in for a second just to show us that he was around, because we had been talking about him and calling his energies, and then it left, you know. And so this is a really potent time for me as well, because my Nana was a Virgo. One of my favorite cousins who just passed away, who was like a mother to me, she was a Virgo. Had a client call me the other day with her same name, and it was just like, oh my God, you know. So I feel their energy around me, you know. I've been dealing with like health stuff and just trying to figure out certain aspects of my life, and my ancestors are coming in with these answers. You know, they're coming in and being like, hey, you remember this, or you remember when we showed you that, or try this or try that. Like, there's just stuff that I know that I consciously don't know. It's like, well, why would I know that? But I follow through with it and I pay attention to it, and it works. Whether that's a healing modality, whether that's like me physically doing something, you know, like creating something, even recipes. You know, like me just going in the kitchen and trying to figure out what to make, and then just like getting the intuitive guidance and being like, oh yeah, my nana used to make that, or my cousin used to make that, or I remember my grandma used to do that, or where did I get that from, right? Like all of these things are coming to us for a reason. Sorry, I'm like, feel something on me. I'm hoping it's just the hair freaking shedding over here. Connecting with our galactic star family, right? For those of you who know that you're more than just this meat suit, right? That you are an eternal soul, and that a lot of us have had souls on other planets, you know. And I know that's like a conversation to have, but it is what it is. Like, I know that I'm galactic. I know when I look up at the sky at night that it's just more than just fluffy clouds in the sky and like really pretty colors. I just know that. I feel such a resonance with that energy, and the more that I've been connecting with that energy, the more downloads I've been getting, the more information I get, the more I've been able to help people, right? And to really help and to be a vessel for God, to do healing work, to be an encourager and inspirer. And so I don't question it so much anymore, right? I just step through with it, and I just step forward with it, and I just trust the guidance that I'm getting. I know that God is not going to steer me wrong. You know, I literally, like I said, we opened the space and I created the safe space, right? I only work with the Most High God. I only work with beings of the purest light and the highest vibration. If it's not from God, it does not come near me. It does not come near my children. We are always safeguarded and protected, you know? So just call those energies around you. You want to connect with one of your ancestors, you're missing a loved one on the other side of the veil, you know, call out to them. The dopest part about when people cross over to the other side of the veil is that there's no delay in our connection to them. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally like light a candle. Let's say you want to light a little white candle in a room, you know, and make sure it's not a windy room, and just call upon, you know, Nana, your grandma, your abuelita, whatever you know, however you call them out, and just wait, and the candle will flicker when their energies come. There's no hesitation. The only time we can't hear them is when we're blocking it out because we don't believe it. I talk to my Nana probably more now than I ever did when she was alive. You know, because she was a very hard woman when she was alive, number one, and she didn't talk very much. But now that I connect with her, I get all the love, I get all the information, I get all the support that I need. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I accept it and I receive it, because I will take all the help I can get, whether it's from a freaking angel or an earth angel or an ancestor or a spirit guide or a spirit animal. I am not biased to how God says me to help. If I'm seeing repeated numbers, if I'm seeing repeated signs, if I'm getting all these synchronicities going on in my life, I know that is just more blessings coming in to help serve me and serve the collective, right? I ask every day, God, use me as a vessel. How can I serve today? Like, what are we doing? I wake up every day and I just clock in. All right, Lord, what are we doing today? You know, oh, you should take this class, or call this person, or, you know, go create this thing. And I'm like, cool, all right. Every day I clock in, every day I'm obedient. It is what it is. My life has gotten a lot easier the more that I stay in flow with the universe than when I was trying to swim upstream and doing everything my way. And not saying that it won't work like that, because it absolutely will work. You know, it might just take a little longer, but I don't really want to do all of that. You know what I mean? Like, your shoulders get tired, your back gets tired. Like, I don't want to do all of that when I could just lay back and just let the Lord lead me and figure it out along the way. And along the way, I'm going to meet some really dope people. I'm going to have some really delicious foods. I'm going to taste some amazing wines. I'm going to laugh until I almost pee my pants. Like, that is the life that I want. Grace and ease and flow, and that is the life that I've accepted, right? So we have all these beautiful energies coming in. I know I started off with the throat chakra and we went down this tangent, but all these beautiful energies coming in to support everyone, right? To bring in more kindness, more balance, more healing, more love, more people into our life that understand us, that feel us, that want to help us expand and to grow. People that are just really in alignment with our truth. And we're being guided to get rid of the things that are no longer serving us. Today is the Autumnal Equinox, right? And what does autumn teach you? If nothing else, is how to let go of dead things. It's time to let it go, right? If you got deciduous trees in your part of the world, it's time to let things go, right? And it doesn't mean that when you let that thing go that nothing else is coming forward, because again, when we move into the next equinox, we see that all the stuff that was let go of, now we have even more, right? Everything is coming back. You're always going to get the same or better. You're always going to get the same or better. So why not open yourself up to some of the better, right? Why not open yourself up to some of the deliciousness of life? It's like, yeah, I could, it's like, yeah, I could go to McDonald's real quick because I don't feel like cooking, but damn, why go to McDonald's when you can go to Whataburger, right? And just step it up a little bit, right? Just, why not? Maybe I don't feel like cooking tonight, and the next thing you know, you're just like in your head, like, I don't feel like cooking, and then your partner comes home and was like, oh, I'm pretty sure you're tired of cooking, I decided to buy dinner, what do you want? Well, I'm going to go take you out. You just never know where the universe is how they're going to answer your prayers, so just be open to it. Be open to it, and be open to letting the things go that are no longer serving you, and I cannot stress that enough. Like, people, places, things, behavior patterns, whatever it is, like, if it's not serving you anymore, it's time to go. And if you don't take the lesson the easy way, it will come again, just a little bit harder. Rug gets pulled from under your feet. I don't like those lessons. If God tells me to sit down, I sit, because I don't want to be sat down. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So you don't have to do things the hard way. You don't have to swim upstream. You don't have to be sat down. You can literally go with the flow and allow the universe to just bless you. And again, as within, so without. So if things are looking a little chaotic on the outside, if things are kind of like falling apart, okay, cool. That means you need to tap within and see what's going on. Like, why does this shit keep happening? Why am I so frustrated? Why am I getting so triggered? Why is it nothing not working? It took, when I tell you I got sat down, I got all the way sat down. I got all the way sat down by the Most High on more than one occasion, right? Because I'm freaking hard-headed and didn't catch the lessons the first time. It was like, oh, okay. You want to do it your way? I got something for you. Slam me. It hurt. It sucked. It was awful. When I first got worked at restaurants, right, for like 20 years, and lost my job, the restaurant closed, whatever, not a big deal, go find another one. But then I couldn't get another job. I was just like back to back to back, and I'm like, why? How can I not have a job? Like, I am restaurants. It was like bugging me out. But I didn't realize while I was being sat down, I had to chill, and I had to learn to relax, I had to totally shift like how I was living my life. And then shortly thereafter, I got pregnant with my son, and I was like, okay, so I got sat down and taught how to chill, rest, and relax, and be home, because that was the path I was about to walk on. But I wasn't doing that before. I was up, out, busy, running around, traveling, drinking, bugging out, doing the most, right? So I had to be sat down. I didn't understand the lesson at the time. I understood it after I got pregnant, but I didn't understand it at the time. So sometimes we don't even realize what's going on. When I started this spiritual work, right? And I wasn't trying to do the spiritual work. Like, this was not a thing for me. I'm a freaking, from the projects in Harlem. Like, the last thing I was thinking my life would be like doing spiritual work and talking to people about freaking angels and God and like pouring like that. I promise you, this was not a thing in my conscious awareness. I was the restaurant chick, and I was living my life, and I was doing the damn thing. And I'm trying to do other things, and nothing was working. When I tell you nothing was working, nothing in my life was working. Nothing in my life was working. It was pissing me off, right? But I kept getting these signs and synchronicities that I needed to be on this path, that I needed to use the gifts that God gave me to do the spiritual work, that I needed to serve more. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you got the wrong number, homie. We don't do that over here. I'm like, I used to do porn. I'm from freaking Harlem. I'm 730. Like, what are you talking about? Now you want me to be like a pastor and a priestess? Like, what are you talking about? And God's like, yeah. And I'm like, you're bugging. And I literally was just trying to do everything but this. And when I tell you nothing was working, nothing. And I'm like, okay. And I said, you know what? Cool. If this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, fine. You know, you got the big picture up there, homie. I'm gonna rock out with you. But make sure that me and the kids always have a place to live, and my kids are always good. And I'll just follow suit. Like, if this is the path you want me on, you got to give me some guidance, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I was like, this is not my thing, you know. And ever since I tapped in, like I said, I get up every day and I clock in, and God's like, all right, cool, go do this. And I'm like, I have questions, you know, call upon my team of light, angels, ancestors, archangels, spirit guides, spirit animals, somebody over there, help me out, you know. Like, I'm just like, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, you know. And then, like, by the grace of God, like, I'm able to divine, you know, using tarot, using oracle, using my pendulum, watching the signs, watching the synchronicities, and I get my answers and I get clarity. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I get these beautiful downloads that just, like, give me so much clarity and so much guidance. And I'm like, oh, all right, you know. And again, life has gotten a lot easier when I stopped trying to do things my way. When I just started going in the flow in the universe and being like, you know what, these are the goals and dreams that I have for myself on this path while I'm here. But I also know that there's more for me than just, you know, wanting to maybe live in a certain neighborhood or acquire a certain thing or go to a certain place. And so I just sign up and I just clock in and I just do the inner work and I do the outer work. And life has gotten way less troublesome on the outside, right? Like, things aren't falling apart everywhere. Everything is not a fire. Everything is not an emergency. Like, things are a lot more fun and a lot more easy and a lot more in joy and a lot more in flow. And I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, I didn't know doing spiritual work could be fun, you know. Like, you listen to the stories of, like, Jesus or, like, Buddha, and they're all, like, meditating all the time, stressed out, people trying to kill them. You know, I'm having flashbacks from past lives of, like, the witches' trials, and I'm just like, I don't really know if I want to deal with all of that. But this is a new world. This is a new age, right? It's like, I'm not going to be burnt at the stake this time around. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't, like, sneaking around trying to, like, do black magic on me. I'm always really guided, guarded, and protected in all things, in all ways, right? And once I realized that, this path was completely protected, that I was completely safe, that I could talk my shit and still be who I am and not have to change just because I was working in a certain, you know, field. Like, I'm still the crazy girl from Harlem. I curse like a sailor. I still like to drink my wine. I smoke weed sometimes. You know, I'll be bugging out. I'll be having mad fun. I love sex. Like, those things about me haven't changed. I just get to express my truth and my spirituality in my way. And now I get to help guide people with sex, right? Like, was like, oh, I used to do porn, but now I get to take all of the deliciousness that I learned in porn and help people to really connect with themselves in a sexual way and connect with their spirituality. And I didn't know that was going to be a thing, right? I didn't know that my desires and my goals and my connection with, like, tarot and oracle and just, like, that whole, like, occult stuff was a part of the gifts that I was given in order to help people. I didn't know any of that. I didn't realize that, you know, I always knew my hands, there was something with them, but I didn't know that was, like, a thing, a spiritual thing, like clairtangency. Why I was so sensitive in crowds, or why I don't like thrift stores, or why when I massage somebody I'm able to really help them, or the food that I cook, it really transforms people's lives, or it helps people in different ways. Like, I didn't know those were things, right? And so a lot of people, not just me, have all these beautiful gifts and talents that are dormant within them, that they've brought with them from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, that are ready to be activated right now so that you can help the collective, right, in your own way. So how are you showing up, right? What is your thing? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like me and be on freaking YouTube every day and have a spiritually based business, right? It could be that your gift is you're super organized, right? And you help bring organization to other people's lives. Or your gift could be that you're just like a dynamic mother or father, right? And you pour so much life into your children and into their friends and that community that you've helped to transform people, right? It's like I think I mentioned this before, but like, the woman who made the lunch for her son before Jesus blessed that food and turned the 5 loaves or the 2 loaves and 5 fishes into a meal for thousands, right? Like, she was just being a good mom and making sure that her baby had something to eat that day. But if it wasn't for her making that meal for her child, the child wouldn't have had the food to bring to this beautiful event that we're still talking about to this day, because Jesus blessed it and fed thousands of people, right? Her part in this world transformed us, and we still have that story because she was a great mom. She was just being a dutiful and nurturing mom. Mary, right? Mother Mary, showing up and saying yes to Archangel Gabriel when he's like, hey, you're about to have God's baby, right? She could have been like, no, like teenage mom freaking out, hell no, I'm not doing it, right? But Gabriel said, be not afraid, and Mary trusted that, and we're still talking about her to this day because she was the mother of Christ, right? So knowing that might just be your path, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be on a stage or on a pulpit or doing something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be running a company. It could be that you're just really great at being you, right? And maybe that's just your jokes or your organization or the way that you cook or the way that you talk shit, right? Some people are just really great at who they are, right? And being the best version of yourself is exactly why you're here. That's exactly why you're here. That's why we're all here. And so we're getting really supported in that energy at this time, right? Our ancestors are coming in to help us just be the best that we can be, to help clear the maternal lineage, to help clear the paternal lineage, right? And as you heal, you get to heal 7 generations forward and 7 generations back, right? And that's part of the reason that your ancestors are showing up, because they know that they had some drama and some karma with them that they left, and now you have to deal with, right? But are you standing here in your truth? Because I decided that it stops with me. My kids are not going to be embodying that karma. They're not taking that lineage. There's none of that curses. That shit is dead. And that's part of the reason why I keep being walked through the ringer and having to do so much internal work, because I was like, it stops here. Like, I'm not going to have my babies deal with poverty and narcissism and low vibrational relationships and not loving themselves and not even knowing what a healthy relationship looks like. I'm not doing any of that. You know, like, I'm stopping it here. I want them to know what it means to love themselves. I want them to know what it means when someone actually loves and values you. I want them to know what it means to think of others, right? And to be considerate of the collective, but also know that it's not selfish for you to be thinking about yourself first, right? Because you can't give to somebody else what you don't have, right? So self-love is the first love and the best love, right? And I'm teaching them that. And my children are very compassionate, very generous, and very empathetic, right? They love each other, they love themselves, and they love their friends and their family, right? And it's like, all right, Mom, you know, I'm trying to get this working because I just want them to be better than I've ever been. I tell my daughter that all the time. She's like, I want to be like you. I said, no, I want you to be better than me. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because the job of a parent, hopefully, most of us, is for our children to be better. I want you to be better than I ever could be. I want you to be the best thing ever. And I got a battery in your back, and I'll be your motherfucking biggest fan. You know what I mean? To the end. All right, what else is going on in this energetic world? So a lot of balance, relationships, diplomacy, partnership, harmony coming in. Because we just stepped into Libra season, check your birth chart and just see where Libra is placed in your birth chart. Everybody has every sign in their birth chart, whether they're aware of it or not. I'm not talking about your sun sign, right, which is where you celebrate your birthday. Although your sun, your moon, and your rising will be kind of like the most potent energies that you got going on, but everybody has Libra somewhere in your chart. So check your birth chart. You can go to cafeastrology.com. They do free ones. It's really dope. Really focusing on the energies of your heart right now. That's been another one that's been going on. We're doing a lot of heart chakra clearings and healings at this time. Again, Libra is about relationships, right? So the relationship that you have with yourself, as well as the relationship that you have with others. And again, you cannot give what you don't have. So it starts with loving yourself. Really loving yourself. And in loving yourself, you're not being disrespectful to others. You're not being toxic. You're not being narcissistic, because that's not a reflection of what love is. That's an energy of fear. And anything outside of love is fear. It doesn't matter how it's packaged, right? As anger, as resentment, as bitterness, as, you know, terror. It's still fear. Like, God is pure love, and anything outside of that is fear. So don't be deceived by the egoic mind, which is making you think that you need to do something a certain way or be a certain way or have a certain amount of, like, credentials or whatever, right? God is the one who designed your resume. If he says you're qualified, you're qualified. It doesn't matter what everybody else got to say. Once again, this is not their path. It's yours. It's absolutely always yours. Music is going to be a big thing in the next few weeks as well. So the music that we hear, and I'm saying that because Venus and Neptune are doing like a little astrological dance. The music that we hear really means something, right? And I'm not one to like put down music or to promote certain music, because I grew up listening to freaking Lil' Kim and Biggie and Pac and all that, and with the shits and with the drama too. But I'm also very cognizant of the fact that like a lot of the music that comes out nowadays, when it comes to like rap and hip hop, isn't really talking about shit. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like promoting that same low vibrational culture where like you think it's funny to just go around killing people for no reason or raping women or degrading them. Like it, when I hear a song and I know that it's popular, before I even play myself and be like, oh, I like that beat, I literally will like Google the lyrics, because I'm like, let me see what they're talking about before I even get hyped, because I don't want to sit there and be like, as somebody's talking about, you know, sodomizing their grandmother. I don't even want to play myself like that. So I Google the lyrics and I'm like, what are they saying? And half the time I ask somebody like, what are they saying? They're like, I don't know, I just like the beat. And I'm like, but these songs resonate. Like, you ever like get into a quiet space and then like you just hear a song in your head, or you just hear a beat, you just recognize it. Like that stuff is playing back to back and back in your head, right? It's like our thoughts. Our thoughts become things. So you're playing these things back to back to back in your head. What are the things that you're listening to, right? What is it that you want to pour over yourself? I always encourage my clients, like, when you're trying to feel good and you're trying to get high vibrational, like, what are the songs that you love to listen to that just make you feel good, make you feel empowered, make you feel strong, make you feel like beautiful or handsome? Like, what are those songs? I have a whole playlist that I listen to called my Goddess Playlist, right? And it's got a mixture of people. It's got Cardi B, it's got Alicia Keys, it's got, what's that, the girl, I don't know, there's a couple of hoes on there, right? But the songs just make me feel good, right? Whether it's like me feeling really independent, me feeling really strong, me just, you know, I'm feeling myself, however that plays out. Those are the songs that I listen to raise my vibration if I'm feeling kind of low, right? I have a spiritual playlist. I have like a playlist for my kids, right? I have my motivational playlist, like the different songs that I hear, like if I'm trying to get some work done and I'm feeling a little down. It's like, you know, 50 cents, you know, I get money. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, let me go get this money. You know what I mean? I just hype myself up. I'm my own battery in my back. So the songs you listen to mean something. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of those songs. And some of you, the reason that message is coming up is because some of you are going to be creating this music, right? Some of you have songs that are within you that haven't had a chance to be expressed yet, and it's time for you to write the songs, right? It's time for you to sing the songs. It's time for you to rap the song. However you choose to express it, get the music out. Like, don't let the music die within you. Don't let the music die within you. Please don't. Please don't. Saying gratitude during this time is going to be super helpful. You know, obviously an attitude of gratitude will take you far in all that you do and all that you are. So just being grateful for where you're at and the things that are going really well in your life, and allowing that energy to support the things that aren't going well in your life so that they begin to shift, right? Again, it's like when we're doing our scale of 1 to 10. When you have some of those things that are 8, 9, 10, you know, really focusing your energies there. Like, yeah, I'm doing really great here. That's awesome. And my relationship is dope. My job is dope. I love my work. I love to travel, all this stuff. And then the things that aren't working out, guess what? They either fall apart, fall away at the wayside, or they begin to shift because now they have to match that energy. Now they have to match that energy. When you're in a high vibrational space, anything that's below that doesn't have access to you, right? So one person that is super high vibrational, super in their power, super knowing their worth and that they're deservingness and they're worthy and that they're loved and that they are loved, that person is way more powerful energetically than a million that are not, right? So that's why it's so important to really check your vibration, right? Like, be the vibrational shift in the room, right? It's not like you walk into the room and you're trying to catch the vibes. No, you are the vibe, right? You go change the room. I'm a walking alchemist. I'm a transmuter of energies, which is why I'm super sensitive in like crowded spaces. But I know when I walk into a space that I'm lighting it up. I know when I'm walking into a space that if there's been negative energy there, I'm cleaning it out. You know what I mean? I know that when I'm walking into a space and people are around me, their life changes, their light changes. They see things. It's no longer dark for them. You know what I mean? And so I take that. It's exhausting work. Sometimes I got to come home and really like cleanse my energetic field. But I love, value, and appreciate it because I know that I get to bring light into people's worlds, right? I know that I'm a whole vibe. You know what I mean? I know that I'm a whole vibe. And I'm not saying that to be arrogant. I'm saying it out of love. Like, I bring this beautiful love and joy into the world to make people's day better, to make people's day brighter, right? And it feels really great to be able to just love and care about people in that way, and to really give back to people in that way, right? So you be the vibe, you be the game shifter, you be the energy changer, right? You be the conduit of energy in that room, right? Don't allow yourself to be an extra in somebody else's play, right? You are the writer of your own book. You are the CEO of your life. You are the captain of your ship, right? It's time for you to take control of that. And again, start looking at things, the relationship you have with yourself, the relationships that you got going on externally, and hire and fire accordingly, right? You're the CEO of your life. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people have to go. Some people have to go. Some of the things that you were doing before have to go. Some of the ways that you show up in the world have to go, right? In order for you to be the best version of yourself, right? Just because it feels good or it looks good doesn't mean it's a good look for you. And that's facts. That goes with the people that we date. That goes with some of our behavior patterns. I used to be a smoker. I used to smoke cigarettes, Newport Lights. That was my jam. And then American Spirits. That was also my jam, right? But just because I liked smoking and it kind of felt good doesn't mean it was good for me. You know, and it wasn't even like a conscious thing, I think, that I gave up. Oh, no, I think I stopped smoking cigarettes when I got pregnant, because obviously I was like, pregnant, not going to smoke cigarettes, not going to do that to the kid. It's like, I know not to do it to the baby, but why am I doing it to myself? A sign of not loving myself, right? And not judging you if you're a smoker, because, again, I was a smoker for years. I know a lot of smokers, it is what it is, but that's part of the reason, right? It's like, you take care of your body will take care of you. You know, whether that's smoking too much or drinking too much, or exercising too much, working too much, eating too much freaking sugar and processed foods, whatever it is, right? We're doing too much of it and we're not taking care of ourselves, then our body starts to be like, hey, I don't like how this feels, you know? And I've decided that I want to see my grandkids grow up. And I have little ones right now. My babies are little. You know, I got a freaking 9 and a 10-year-old. And I was like, I want to see my grandkids grow up. So I need to be here for a while in order for that to happen. And I'm not going to just be here and having them take care of me. Like, I want to be able to, like, be up and play with them and be talking mad shit and traveling and, like, doing the most, right? I still want to be, like, getting banged out, like, until, like, the day that I go. Like, these are my life goals. I don't care if you judge me, but that's what it is. That's what it is. All right, my beautiful divine masculine energies. You guys, and divine masculine is an energy. It's not a male, or it's not a gender. But my beautiful divine masculines, you guys are healing a lot of abandonment issues, a lot of loss, a lot of trauma, and a lot of dealing with these power shifts, right? Because we're moving from the divine masculine energy and reactivating the divine feminine energy on this planet. And so we're coming from a space where it's all about, I need to go get money, and, you know, I need to be first, and it's all about me and power and stuff. And we're moving into a more global collective sense, right? Where it's like, I need to think about others, or I need to realize, like, how I'm showing up in the world, or I need to deal with the fact that I have, like, abandonment issues, and stop, like, dating people and then abandoning them because I'm still dealing with that trauma. So that's not an easy thing to deal with, especially if that's something that you picked up between the ages of 0 and 7, which most of us have, right? Where you felt, hey friends, abandoned by one of your parents, or betrayed by somebody that you really loved and cared about, right? That's still playing out in our relationships now as adults, right? Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, however it goes, I see it all across the board, especially in my clients, right? People are still dealing with it to this day, to the point where, like, they're still having the same unhealthy relationships, the same unhealthy relationship patterns are showing up, not setting clear boundaries, right? So being accountable for yourself, being accountable for how you've been showing up in relationships, taking a look at your relationships as a whole, and kind of like doing a checklist, right? Again, are you dating the same type of person, right? Are you getting triggered in these situations and then running or lashing out? You know, like, are you hurting people, or you already got one foot out the door because you think you're going to be hurt, and thus kind of creating self-fulfilling prophecies, right? A lot of that is happening right now, and a lot of that's being brought up to the surface to be cleared away, to be like, hey, you know, every time it gets hard, I go running. Okay, well, what's going to happen if you stay? What happens if you stay? Right? Like, every time something is difficult, I shut down and I don't communicate. I want to give person silent treatment. Okay, well, how about you learn how to communicate and express yourself without lashing out at a person, and without flipping out on the person, and without trying to hurt a person, right? Like, can you communicate your feelings in a healthy way? And if not, that's something else that we need to deal with. No judgment, no criticism. It's awareness. Once you have an awareness, then you can make a change, right? When you know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better, right? And it doesn't, again, forgiving yourself and releasing the past are for you. You and you alone. Forgiving yourself, loving yourself, forgiving yourself for staying too long, forgiving yourself for not forgiving yourself, right? Forgiving the people or the situations you were in and the pain that it might have caused, right? It's time to move on. It's time to let the past stay in the past. The past is over. It cannot hurt us anymore. The only thing that we get to bring with that energy are the lessons, right? So you take the lessons, you bring them with you today, right? So that you can just be better, do better, know better, show up better, right? And this is for you, not for anybody else. This is solely for you. So you can move forward, so you can have healthier relationships, right? So you can be more fulfilled, so that you can get to your happily ever after. It's not just a fairy tale. That is our reality. That is your truth, if that is something that you want. For my beautiful divine feminines, again, this isn't gender specific. Divine feminine is an energy, right? We're healing a lot of traumas, right? A lot of traumas, especially when it comes to feminine energy, where you're not allowed to speak your truth, where you weren't allowed to create and to express yourself, right? Where a lot of childhoods maybe were taken from you, right? Because you had this beautiful, nurturing, feminine energy, and you had to grow up really fast, right? Or you couldn't express yourself, especially if you incarnated as a woman, right? Where you couldn't express yourself as in a female form because you may be sexually assaulted, or because, men can't control themselves, whatever fucking bullshit that we grew up having to deal with. Many of us are healing gender issues, right? If you're healing not only just your family, your lineage, and your generation, you're healing stuff based on the gender that you're incarnated in. You're healing stuff based on the culture that you're incarnated in, right? The race, the community you're incarnated in, like all of that. All of that. So I have to deal with stuff as a black woman, right? From Harlem, who grew up in the hood, right? Like, I don't know how many times I was told growing up, oh, you sound white. I'm like, just because I'm educated and I know how to read doesn't mean that I sound white. Like, why is that a thing that only white people can read? That is very odd to me. Right? But, like, having to deal with that bullshit my whole life, right? Or the colorism even within the black community, right? I don't know how many times I was told from, like, black men, like, oh, you're really pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? It's like, light is right, white is right, but you're dark-skinned. It's like, oh, you happen to be pretty. It's like, are you fucking retarded? You know what I mean? Especially when their mothers are my complexion. That used to boggle my mind. But having to heal all of those things and having to hear that and having that, projected onto me my whole life, right? Thank God for this freaking bubble and this shield around me, and that I'm kind of resilient, because it's a lot of nonsense to have to deal with, right? And you can't do this because you're a woman, and you can't do this because you're black, and it's a constant onslaught, right? And so you're having to, build these shields and kind of, secure yourself and not be defensive at the same time, right? Because then it's like, oh, if a black woman says something, it's like, oh my God, an angry black woman. It's like, I'm not angry, I'm annoyed that we're still having the same conversation freaking 40, 50 years later. Like, are you guys retarded? Your retardation is exhausting. I'm not angry, I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm tired of the conversation. So, having to heal all that stuff as a divine feminine, the silencing as a divine feminine, not being able to speak your truth, whether that's about your gifts, your desires, your goals. Again, a lot of the work that I do with soul sex is helping people to just get their voice back. I find most of my clients that I deal with when it comes to sex, their number one problem is communication. It's communication, not feeling secure in expressing themselves, feeling ashamed for their desires, not sure if they're going to be judged by their partner by wanting to, try something new or do something new, or how it's going to be received, and so it kind of closes all things down, right? And that's something that can be fixed by just having a conversation, right? Not judging, we're not criticizing, we're having awareness, we're opening our hearts, we're expressing ourselves in a really healthy manner, and we're also jumping timelines, right? We're releasing a lot of the density that has held us back. And this is for the collective, right? Everybody is just releasing stuff that's holding you back. So it's not surprising to me that I'm seeing so many people having these big kind of like tower moments in our life, right? Where everything seems to be falling apart. It's like it's falling apart because it needs to fall together in a better way. Like you have a house that's built on sand. It's not going to work, right? So it's like we're taking the demolition and we're knocking the house down and you're taking all the materials and you're going to a solid ground, right? You're going to rock and then you're rebuilding the house. And now you're like, you know what? Actually, I don't want it like this, right? I'm going to create a new blueprint. I'm going to build it even stronger, even wider, even taller than it was before, right? I want something magnificent. I had a shaft that was built on sand. It didn't work. Cool. Well, guess what? Now I get to build a house. Now I get to build a mansion, right? A villa, whatever that might mean to you, right? So, and as we're jumping timelines, right? You're changing from one stage of your life to another, right? We're closing out these doors. We're ending these chapters. We're moving forward because it's time for everyone to move forward. It's time for you to be the best version of yourself possible. It's time for you to really open your hearts and to just step in and stand in your truth and to not be ashamed of that, right? Don't be ashamed of the way you feel. Don't be ashamed of your goals and your dreams, right? Even if it makes other people around you uncomfortable. So many people I work with are holding them back from success because they don't know how their families would feel if they made a little bit more money, if they moved to a different community, right? If they decided to leave that job that kind of gives them security because they want to pursue a goal or a dream, right? And at the end of the day, it's always like, guess what? I know you love your mom, you love your dad, you love, your family, you appreciate their opinions, and that's great. But if you're not happy with your life, and you need to live your life unhappily in order for them to be happy, that's a problem. That's a problem. No part of my life needs to make you satisfied in order for me to be happy about it. I have to live with myself every day. I have to look myself in the mirror every day. I have to deal with autumn every day. If you don't like it, there's several doors that you can show yourself out of. I can open a window. We'll figure it out. You don't need to be here. And that's fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because at the end of the day, I have to live with myself, right? I have to be accountable for the decisions that I made. So many people love to offer their advice on decisions that they don't have to live with. They don't have to live with. At the end of the day, they don't have to deal with the consequences of your choices. You do, right? So if you're going to deal with consequences, good, bad, or indifferent, make them be from the decisions that you wanted to make from your own heart. And guess what? If you make a mistake, what did you learn? And shift it. It's like, that didn't work. Cool, let me try something else. Okay, try something else. Like, you don't have to feel bad about that. You don't have to feel bad about this. This is about bringing harmony and peace and joy into your life at this time. That's what we're pushing for, right? So we get to release with the beautiful Autumnal Equinox all the shit that's no longer serving us. Distorted belief systems, people, places, things, whatever that might be, right? Maybe you're going to change jobs. Maybe you need to move to a new place. Maybe you need to finally stop dealing with old boy because, he only calls you in the middle of the night and the sex might be amazing, but whatever. Maybe you need to stop dealing with her homegirl just because she gives great head or whatever it may be. Like, sometimes you got to move on. You got to move on. You know what I mean? You might just need to get a freaking toy and a glass of wine and move on. You know who you're dealing with. You know who you shouldn't be dealing with. You know the things that would make your body feel good and you know the things that don't. And you have to be accountable for it. It's like, if you eat like shit and you don't feel well, guess what? You can't be mad at nobody but yourself because you're more than aware that eating like crap is going to make you feel like crap. But if you choose to do it every day, guess what? Don't be surprised if you end up at the doctor. You can't be mad at anybody but yourself, right? And don't be mad at yourself. Just do better. You know better, do better. You know better, do better. You know better, do better. That's it. It's just cyclical. You know better? So I'm going to do better. I know better now, so I'm going to do better. And you just keep moving up. Moving on up. You know what I'm saying? To the east side. Like freaking Jefferson. Alright. What else do we need to check in with? Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh. And if you can, I'm going to say this probably every week, but just a reminder that I actually wrote down, which is funny. Go outside, get into nature, weather permitting, of course, right? In the northern hemisphere, we're moving into the autumnal equinox. In the southern hemisphere, moving into the spring equinox. So, if you can, get outside, go into nature. Go for a walk, sit in the park, hug a tree, get your feet on the ground, if you can. If you can't get outside because maybe the weather is crappy wherever you're at, bring nature into your house, right? Maybe get a plant, or listen to, like, some shamanic drumming on YouTube, or, like, the sounds of nature, right? Like, open your windows. Open your freaking windows. Cut off the air conditioner and open the windows. Get some fresh air flowing through the house, right? You got a lot of clutter under your bed, right? Clearing that stuff out. If you got a whole bunch of crap in your closet, start clearing stuff out. It boggles my mind the amount of stuff that people get attached to, right? And I know that there's memorabilia and all that stuff, but 9 times out of 10, think like this. Like, if your house caught on fire and you had to just take some stuff with you, the most important things to take with you to go, so just you and your family be safe because you know your house is about to be on fire, all that shit that you're storing, would it really matter? No. What's going to matter? You got your health and your life. You got your kids, right? You got like birth certificates, social security cards, maybe your ID, your wallet, your purse, you know, something like that. Like, take the most important stuff with you and then look at everything else, right? Some things don't need to still be there. Some things can be donated. Some things can be sold, right? Like, put them back into the freaking cycle of the universe, right? I'm sure there are people that can use the millions of things that you have just sitting in your house, right? The knickknacks, the shoes, the clothes that you haven't worn in eons. You know what I mean? Like, get it out. Give it out there, right? Like, flow with it. Or I hope that if you're not, then make sure you're wearing the stuff. You know what I mean? Don't just have stuff just sitting there collecting dust. You know what I mean? Cycle it out. Cycle it out. Cycle it out. Get flow into the universe. Take some time to rest out. Take some time to hydrate. Take some time to get outside, to move that body if you can. Go for a walk, you know what I mean? Maybe walk up the steps if your body can do it, you know? If you're feeling a lot of pains within your body, tap into the chakras that it's attached to and figure out why, right? Our root chakra basically it's connected to anything from the hips down, right? So if your feet are hurting, your knees are hurting, your legs are hurting, that's your root chakra, right? Maybe even your lower back. Sacral chakra, right? That's between our belly button and like our pelvis bone, right? So maybe if your cycle is off, or again, lower back pains, your yoni for a female, right? Any of that stuff, you really want to get it together. Our masculine energy is in our solar plexus, right? Between our belly button and basically like our chest bone, right? Or here. So, you know, that's our power center, our fight or flight, our gut instincts, right? So, have you been having belly aches or indigestion, upset stomachs, diarrhea? Like, all that stuff is going to be within your solar plexus, right? Our heart chakra, right? That's the biggest and the most powerful energy center that we have in our freaking bodies, right? And not surprising that it's right in between the lower 3 and the upper 3 chakras, right? So what's going on in your chest area, right? Like, are you being activated? And I mean, you know, check your chest. Like, if you are having problems breathing and stuff like that, obviously go see a medical professional. But sometimes in medicine can't answer the questions. It's because it's not an external thing, it's an internal thing, right? Are you loving yourself? Are you valuing yourself? Are you respecting yourself? Are you reflecting out to the universe that you are loved, valuable, and worthy and deserving, right? Sometimes when we're getting those pains in the chest, it's because we're not loving ourselves. We're not loving ourselves. Throat chakra, right? It's our 5th chakra. So, are you speaking your truth? Are you clearly communicating, right? Are you standing in your truth, standing in your yes, standing in your no? Are you offering words of compassion and kindness and empathy to yourself as well as to others, right? What are you prophesizing over your life, right? What are you manifesting? Thoughts become things, and the words that we speak are very powerful. You know, so are you speaking power over your life? Like, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am abundant, I am great. Or are you speaking low vibrational things over yourself and cursing yourself? I am sick, I am weak, I am tired, I am exhausted, right? Your body, your DNA has to listen to you. So what are you speaking over yourself? What are you speaking over yourself? People ask me all the time, how you doing? I'm like, I'm extraordinary, how are you? And they laugh, and I'm like, you can laugh all you want, but I know that I'm speaking that over my life. So guess what I am? I am extraordinary. I am vibrant. I am love. I am deserving. I am worthy. I'm fantastic. I'm terrific, right? And I say these things all the time, and guess what? My vibration then takes me there. I'm setting the intentions. I'm manifesting that over my life. What are you speaking over your life? We got our 3rd eye, right? So our 3rd eye allows us to see beyond sight, right? So what are you envisioning for yourself? Maybe some of you, and I know a lot of this has been happening for a lot of people, your dreams, right, are getting more active, right? Maybe you're having these really vivid dreams, or you're seeing these images in your head that you can't let go of, you know? Like, tap into it. Get a journal and write it out, right? But if you've been getting, like, some pressure around your head, your temples, headaches, that's activations going on within your 3rd eye and your crown chakra. And our crown chakra is our connection to the divine, right? That's where we download our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So again, if you happen to be getting these like headaches, right, understand that there might be some activations going there. When there's stuff going on with our throat chakra, right? Sometimes we're coughing a lot, or we have a sore throat, or we feel really dehydrated. You know, like tap in. What's going on with your body, right? All right, my back is hurting. The spine represents support, how we feel supported in the universe. So maybe you're not feeling supported at work. Maybe you're not feeling supported within your family. Maybe you're not feeling supported by your, you know, your tribe and your vibe. Like, what is it? Teeth issues, right? Like, teeth is about indecision, right? So, are you maybe indecisive about stuff? Are you been having, has it been hard for you to make a decision? Do you suffer from analysis paralysis, right? Where you're just like, sitting so much on the freaking fence, you don't know which way to go, that you actually never make a decision, right? So tap into your body and heal it, and give it the time to heal, give it the space to heal, honor it, respect it. Okay, beautiful, beautiful things. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. I think I gave you all of the notes for this week because there was a lot going on, but I love you, and it's worth it. Check me out on YouTube. I'm on YouTube like every day, either under the Enlightened Daughter or Soul Sex. I'm literally on there like every day. Go out into nature, get some sun if you can. Go out into the sun around sunrise and sunset is really dope to activate your third eye. So again, you can see beyond sight, right? You want to see things through the eyes of the divine. It'll change your motherfucking life. And that's it. Let me see who's on. Hi, Tabby. What's up, boo thing? I love you. Sorry that I didn't comment earlier. I did see you jump on. But yeah, let me know, guys. Definitely hit me up. Hit me on YouTube. Hit me here. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'm always around. I'm always available. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you. I love you. Book a reading. Book a coaching session. Just holler at your girl. Whatever you might need. Oh, you know what? I want to pull a card to see what's going on. Okay. I'm going to pull a card from the angels. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for reminding me. They're like, you didn't pull a card to see what they want us to know for this equinox. Oh, my God. This just flipped out. Ooh, Archangel Uriel with trust. Right? So this is trusting in our higher self. Trusting in the divine. Trusting in the intuitive promptings that you're getting again. Really trusting your intuition. Really, really, really important at this time. Really important at this time. I love the fact that we have this beautiful purplish color, right? So, again, that's our crown chakra, right? So you're getting the intuitive prompts from the Most High, and then you're following through with it, right? You're trusting the guidance. Don't allow the egoic mind to talk you out of the guidance that you get from the divine. Sometimes we get guidance and it doesn't make sense to us logically, right? It's like, oh, I should go to Starbucks and get a coffee, or I should go to Starbucks, but you don't even drink coffee. Like, why would I go to Starbucks, right? But maybe on the way there, you see something or hear something that you're meant to see, or you run into somebody that's been on your mind, or you overhear a conversation while you're there that kind of transforms things, right? So instead of overthinking it, just follow through with it. So thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for these messages for the collective at this time. What do they need to know, and what do they need to see in regards to the equinox? What do I need to know, and what do I need to see? So thank you, angels. Thank you, guys. Anything else? Amazing. Alright, we got a couple of messages. Bottom of the deck, Archangel Gabriel with benediction. Beautiful. For some of you, this little hand chakras that we have here are becoming activated, right? And so you might be clairtangent, but this is also an energy for me of like charity and just kind of like giving more and serving more, right? So how can you serve? How can you give more, right? And charity isn't always like a monetary thing, right? Sometimes just giving your time to a person to listen can be charitable. Sometimes just like, you know, being a friend, holding space for someone can be a form of like, you know, because it's an energy exchange, right? So giving your time or actually doing something, being of service, right? Helping a friend to move, or just being a listening ear. Like, there are different forms of charity. Do the thing that speaks to your own heart. Archangel Jophiel coming in with forgiveness. Again, with that energy, right? Forgiveness is a healing balm for ourselves, right? It's not about the person, the situation, none of that. It's about allowing that healing balm to come into your life so that you're not holding on to resentment and causing a cancer in your body. That point blank and simple, right? It's time to let the past stay in the past where it belongs. It belongs in the past. Let it go, right? It doesn't mean that the shit that happened was okay. It doesn't mean that these people get a pass and that they get to do it again. It doesn't even mean that these people get a chance to be in your life anymore, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I have mental funerals for people all the time. You are not allowed in this dance space. This is my dance space. That is your dance space. Stay over there, right? I'm going to love you from afar. But I'm not going to hold on to any anger or resentment, because that's just like poisoning myself. And that's not solving. That's not serving anybody. Least of all me. Least of all me. Archangel Metatron with the energy of mercy. Oh, mercy, mercy me. Right? Things ain't always what they used to be. But you have this beautiful energy coming in, right? To just support you. Again, it's like the same energy with the forgiveness and like the empathy and the compassion, right? Just have some mercy covering over your life, right? And really not just being compassionate and taking it easy on yourself. Like, have the grace to hold space for yourself. This healing that we're doing, this transforming that we're doing, this releasing that we're doing from all the karma and the drama and the traumas in our life, right? Like, don't be so hard on yourself throughout this process, right? Don't beat yourself up. Don't be mad at yourself for the things that are going on, right? It's like, you know what? I learned so much from those people. I learned so much from those situations. I learned so much from those things. And now it's time to move forward. Now it's time to move forward. So beautiful, beautiful energy coming in here to really help you move forward, right? To forgive yourself for all the times that you didn't, that you've been hard on yourself, that you've been judging yourself, that you've been criticizing yourself, that you've been holding your own self back, right? It's time to let all of that energy go. And Archangel Michael, I love it, coming in with patience. Beautiful. So I love the fact that we have the pyramids down here, right? So some of you might be connecting with ancient Egypt and the different energies that have been going in with that, right? I had Goddess Isis come to me recently, and she's been really helping guide me as I work with people in the soul sex and just kind of like taking their healing back when it comes to their sexual energies and not being ashamed of their sexual beingness or their spirituality and their awarenesses, right? But again, this is about being patient with yourself during this process. Again, sometimes the things that we learned don't serve us anymore, and we have to like unlearn them. And so you don't pick up something, you don't just wake up one day and go, you know what, that's over, when you've learned it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? You got to really do the inner deep work, but also have patience with yourself throughout this process, right? Like, you're not going to just wake up one day and cut the light switch on and all of a sudden be healed from all the traumas and the dramas that you learned. You're not going to just wake up one day and just be like, you know what, like, I'm not going to think like that anymore, right? You got to do some work. Sometimes we got to do some affirmations. Sometimes we got to do some journaling. Sometimes we got to cry at night, right? Sometimes we got to pick up that phone and just like open our hearts. Sometimes our hearts get cracked open by the divine when it comes in to really help support us, right? I call upon the Holy Spirit all the time. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Like, show me my blind spot. Show me where I've been fucking up. Show me what I'm missing, right? It's like I'm dealing with this lesson again. I'm dealing with this person again. What am I missing? What have I not learned yet? Like, please make it clear to me. Like, make it bright as day, because I don't want to keep living like this. I don't want to keep doing this, right? But I'm also very patient with myself, because I know I might have like 30 things that need to be dealt with, and I can't deal with them all at once. Sometimes I got to do area by area, right? All right, today I'm going to focus on finances. Tomorrow I'm going to focus on my physical health. All right, and then Friday I'm going to focus on my freaking, my relationships with my family. And then I'm going to take the weekend off. And maybe Monday I'm going to deal with my, my kids. And it's just section by section, bit by bit. No criticism, no judgments. Just awareness and an ability to move forward, right? And then we're going to end it with this beautiful one. Archangel Jophiel coming in with the energy of joy, right? Joy, one of the highest vibrations that we have, right? It's like love or above. We got love, we got joy, we got enlightenment, right? So opening your heart, being easy on yourself, and having some fun throughout this process, right? Do the things that make you feel good. Do the things that bring joy into your life. Why? Because they raise your vibration. When your vibration is raised, guess what? You have access to all types of deliciousness. People that are high vibrational come into your life. Blessings come into your life. Miracles come into your life. The grace of God is easily felt in your life, right? When you're joyful, right? It's like you see these people and you're like, oh, everything always works out for them. Everything always works out for them because they're living in a high vibrational stance, right? They're activating the joy within and around them. As within, so without. Right? So do that deep inner work. What makes you feel good? What makes you feel good? Go for that massage, right? Go take that walk. Take that long bubble bath. Take yourself out to dinner, right? Go catch up on your shows. Like whatever it is that you can bring some joy into your life. I know sometimes at night, like if I'm having a challenging day or I'm like a little exhausted and I know like my vibrations kind of dropped, I'll go on YouTube real quick and throw on like a stand-up comedy that's like 5 or 10 minutes. Just to raise my vibration, just so that when I hit that pillow at night, my vibration is high so that I'm waking up with the same high vibrational energy. Right? So do the things that bring you joy. And again, we don't want to just do the things that kind of feel good temporarily that we know aren't good for us, but we do want to do things that are going to bring us overall joy. And again, I'm not here to judge you if you smoke, if you drink, if you do the damn thing. I was a smoker for years. I get it. I can outdrink most people that I know, you know, if I decide to do that route, but I know that that's not always a good look for me, right? So I had to like walk away from those things. I know some of the people that I dealt with weren't a good look for me, so I had to walk away from those things. Like, it doesn't matter how good the D was, doesn't matter how great or how fun that person was, like some people and some things just can no longer be in your life, right? And that's not about judgment or criticism, it's just about awareness. Like, ugh, every time I'm with this person, there's drama. Every time I'm with this person, like, it's great, you know, like, we had a great time, and then afterwards I feel like crap. You know, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I know whenever I eat these foods, my stomach hurts. You know, just be mindful of it. I'm not going to be here talking about diets and all that other shit. Like, I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, I'm not none of that. I'm not going to be. I like meat, I like cheese, I like to eat what I eat, but I also know that, like, if my body is not really responding to it, that's not something I'm going to do every day. I know that if I eat, like, too many dairy products, I'm going to get a stomach ache or be gassy or, like, have diarrhea or something. So I'm not going to do that. Now, every once in a while, will I make myself sick and go have, like, a freaking vanilla milkshake from McDonald's if the machine is working? Yes, I will. I will do it. And I will know afterwards that I feel sick, but in that moment, it felt good for a second. You know what I mean? But, like, big picture here, right? Like, am I going to do that every day knowing that it's going to make me feel like crap? No, I'm not. Right? No, I'm not. Everything in moderation, people. Everything in moderation. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I think I've been on for a while with you guys. But I love you. God loves you. Angels surround you. I will see you guys next week for another energy check-in. Please check me out on YouTube, either under the Enlightened Daughter or Soul Sex. Like I said, I'm on there every single day because I'm obedient and I tap in, and that's what the divine has me doing. And you guys are amazing. Hit me up, text me, inbox me, all the things. All right, bye guys, I love you.